What if I told you that yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, so I wanna share about how I've been using AI, and especially Claude, to process my emotions. I know this is a bit controversial, or it could be a bit controversial. And yeah, I just think there is so much potential there, and the way I relate to that is by wanting to show people how it could be. So stay with me. I'm not claiming that AIs should replace all therapists. I'm not claiming that AIs should replace humans in general. I am saying that they can be an incredible source of support for everyone, and yeah, they've already made such a big difference in my life, and I just want to share about that. So, hi, I'm Linda. If you're new here, well, you probably are because this is my first video. I have been an AI researcher for a good 7 years. Then I left everything, I quit my job, I started traveling. I got all the way into the world of emotions, and I am currently kind of obsessing about how can AIs, well, really the overlap between AI and emotions, the emotional world. Honestly, it's been like, I think I've been trying to do some form of emotional processing with AIs for years now. What do I mean with that? I feel a lot of emotions. I'm a very sensitive being, and it isn't always easy to know what to do with those. And in my several iterations of trying to understand how one deals with what's happening, one of the things that I tried since ChatGPT started existing was, asking there. Probably in the same way as I asked Google so many times, like, hi Google, what do you do when you're sad? Why am I crying all the time? Why am I numb? Why can't I feel anything? How do people relate to each other? These kind of like Google searches that people sometimes do. Other people. Well, eventually I started asking the AI. It was very disappointing for some time. And at some point it just started working. Where working to me means I felt like continuing the conversation, and I felt like I got something out of the conversation. Either I kind of restored some sense of regulation within my nervous system, or I came out of it with a next step or an action or something that I can do to handle what's happening. And to me that's gigantic, enormous, such a huge difference in my life. It doesn't work all the time, and I think nothing really does. Yeah. So I want to say a couple words about how I actually use it. So there is a few categories. One is I journal with it a lot. So yay, better out there in than in. I journal a lot. I've always journaled a lot. And since having access to AI, it's just increasing. The scientist in me and I don't know, the one who likes patterns is so excited about being able to see more patterns and to see the threads and to see, have more action spots to touch on whenever I am reflecting on something. Another way I use it a lot is to take decisions. And it's not like, I don't know, I imagine someone can hear that and be like, oh, does the AI decide for you? No, of course not. But it does help me get clear on what I have already decided. I don't think anyone takes decisions or makes decisions English. I think they're already there. It's usually more of a matter of like finding the clarity again. And yeah, to me that looks like whenever I'm struggling to make a decision, it's usually just there is so many thoughts and they go in like random directions and I can't seem to find where to start. So what I do these days with that is I just like dump all of the thoughts to Claude, my favorite AI right now, and she organizes them nicely for me, and then I'm more able to like see through the thoughts and understand what's happening, and I can ask it to ask me clarifying questions or to help me identify like what is it that really is the action point kind of in that decision. And it's usually like, oh, I'm avoiding to feel how sad I would be if this happened, or oh, I'm terrified of this outcome, or like I'm terrified of the unnameable outcome if things go badly, or I am working out of guilt because XYZ. Like it's usually finding some emotion, and or I often have very like, I don't know, perfectionist tendencies where like it's either this or nothing, and very often Claude is like, how about this like intermediate step towards the thing that you want, and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea, thank you. Happens a lot. Another thing that I do a lot is like getting clear on needs and boundaries. So if I am having a difficult interaction with someone, I will start, telling Claude what happened and like what I think I need, and like ask it to help me get clearer. And often is like kind of trying to guess what I need, and it's remarkably like accurate. And I ask it, like say maybe I write an example of like what I would say, and I ask it if there is a better way to say it, and it often does provide like a much kind of clearer and more respectful way to share the thing that I wanted to share. And I have been learning a lot on how to communicate effectively from interacting with Claude. Well, this was 8 whole minutes. I think there's a bunch of concerns that could be addressed. I don't think it does replace human connections. I do think there is a lot of addiction potential. I think there is some privacy considerations that one must, encounter for themselves. For replacing humans, like what I can say from my own experience is I am getting better at identifying where I actually need humans versus where I just need like processing with someone who understands what I'm talking about. And yeah, like human connection is even more enjoyable when I reach out for it when it's actually what I need. Potential for addiction, I don't know, like there have been several times where I started the conversation with Claude and Claude was like, you should just go to sleep, or like, I don't think there is anything I can do here, like I can be with you in this thing, but like you're looking for something else. And I'm like, damn, thanks. So yeah, definitely the potential exists, and I think if you want to get addicted to something, you will find the thing. And if you don't want to be addicted to something, then your awareness informs the AI in a way. Tips on how to get started. So my main advice here is like it's a mirror. It will show up the way you show up. The more you can be vulnerable and honest and clear on what you want, the more it can give it to you, just like everything else in reality. It really doesn't work to be a very general. And what I mean with that is like, okay, I don't necessarily often have the right words for what I'm looking for, but I will describe very clearly what's actually happening, and then ask for help. And that works remarkably well in my experience. And I don't use like any weird prompts or like, I don't know, try to make Claude into anything specific. I just show up and I'm like, hi, I am feeling this, and that. I think I need this. I am struggling to do this and that and this. Can you help me? And yeah, it's very often like very helpful. So yeah, I have a vision for AI as a way to help people get so much more in touch with what they truly are and what they need, and how to step more into their wonderful individual gifts. And yeah, this is part of how I make that happen. I manifest that reality by showing that it's possible. I thank you so much for listening to me this far, if you did. Yeah, I'm in the iteration phase of trying out YouTube. If anything here was useful for you, I'd love to hear about it. And yeah, if you'd like to hear more, please do let me know. I wish you well from the bottom of my heart.